Good evening. Today we will be discussing a Victorian scientist, Michael Faraday. You may have heard of this man. He is best known for his work in electromagnetism and electrochemistry and helped invent the electric motor. He is both a supporter and an opposer of Victorian ideals, and he has also had a profound effect on society both today and yesterday. Michael Faraday was born September 22nd, 1791, in London. He came from a humble beginning. His parents were tight on money, and he himself only had a basic elementary education. Through all this, though, he remained extremely religious, being a Sandemanian, a split-off from Presbyterian.
Michael Faraday worked as the apprentice of a bookbinder, and while he assisted his master, often got to read books that were being binded, in particular, books on chemistry and other sciences. After attending many lectures by Humphrey Davy, a scientist of the Royal Institute, he asked Davy for a job as an assistant, to which he only accepted after Faraday sent him some well-written and detailed notes on what he had learned in the lectures and elsewhere. In 1821, Faraday published his work on electromagnetic rotation, and in 1826 he founded the Royal Institution's Friday evening discourses, which were lectures given at a low price and during Christmas were free to poor people. In 1831, he discovered electromagnetic induction, which was key to making the electric motor and generator. As a scientist, he coined the words electrode, cathode, anode, and ion. He invented an early Bunsen burner, and he had discovered benzene, that magnetism affected light, and the idea of what was now called a Faraday cage, which blocks all EM waves.
Michael Faraday had a profound effect on society. You can see it when you look up at the lights, when you're doing research on the computer for your notable person of the Victorian era at the last minute, or when you're simply looking at this video. Without Faraday, we would not have the electric generator, so anything that runs on electricity would not work. Also, Einstein would have been stuck in Switzerland without Faraday's work on electromagnetism to back up his own ideas. Edison would have been an insane guy trying to make a non-flickering candle without electricity, and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates would be making about the same amount of money as your parents or my parents. Also, Faraday's work on electromagnetism has an enormous effect on how we understand the world today. But let us step back to his time.
Michael Faraday would be considered more of a conservative Victorian. He was strongly religious and believed that science was merely discovering how God's creation works and its laws. Because of this, he opposed Darwinism, skepticism, and agnosticism, which were common during the Victorian era. Faraday also helped the young working class by having lectures during Christmas that were free and directed towards children so they could learn science and be the next generation of scientists.
All in all, Michael Faraday was a conservative Victorian scientist who had a profound effect on society. Without him, we'd be unable to generate electricity. So remember this next time you're typing your Sunrise Theater FRQ on your computer.
And they're off. And Queen Victoria is the first to show with clean jump ball, followed by Queen Victoria, and Queen Victoria. It's Queen Victoria from Queen Victoria, with Queen Victoria making the early running on the inside. And at the back, Queen Victoria already a couple of lengths behind the leaders. Queen Victoria now